Hello friends, hope you are doing good. Welcome back to NUAA-TECH videos, and this is the series of Server 2022. So this is the third video, and in this video we will promote a new domain controller in a existing domain. So this is my forests and a domain controller. A test.local, this is the domain. This is the primary domain controller. So all FSMO role holders roles are restored or placed on this domain controller. Let's check it out. Nadom query FSMO. And let's check the host name as well. Test -DC1. This is my domain controller or the computer name. So I have another client machine. This is the fresh installed machine. Here we will install domain controller, and this is the new domain controller we will add into the existing domain. So to do that, let's rename the host name first. Rename this PC, and I'll name it test TC2. This is the second, this is going to be the second domain controller in the domain. Click next. Okay, restart is required. Okay, so server is restarting. Until then, I'll pause the video. Okay, so the server is ready, and to build this server has an additional domain controller and existing domain, and this is mandatory to assign the IP address, static IP address. So this is the IP address automatically got from DHCP server, and also this is important. This server is reachable to the PDC and domain naming master role holder server, because we will add a new domain controller. So the reachability and required ports must be opened before we add or promote additional domain controller in existing domain. So I already verified all the ports are open. So and just for information, we need to open the firewall ports. Port number 135 RPC, and port number 88, 389 and 3389, and SMB 445, and there are a couple of more ports you can get the list from Microsoft article as well online. So this is my primary domain controller where I have placed all the roles, and the name is test-tc1. So let's ensure the test-tc1 is reachable. So the connectivity is there, And as I already said, that ports are already opened. And you must be part of a domain admin or enterprise admin in order to add a new domain controller in existing domain. So I already have the privilege and my account is already there as a domain administrator. And now the last thing, I'm just assigning a static IP address. So we are meeting all the prerequisites which are required. Okay, 192.168.1.9, and my gateway is my primary domain controller 192.168.1.10, and my DNS is also same 192.168.1.10. I do not have any other alternate DNS server. Let's save the setting and we are good now. Let's add the role and begin the wizard. Okay, features installation, click on next. This is test DC2 and this is the IP address. I changed the IP address. Let me correct it. So I'll disable the network adapter and enable it again. Let's validate one more time. Okay, IP. Looks like it's got corrected. Let me cancel the wizard and start over again. Next, next. I think I will have to take a reboot since I changed my IP address. So I'm getting continue. Server is restarted and we are on server manager. Let's try adding the role now. Okay, add the role, installation type and selection, the IP change. This was expected. And add ADDS roles and supported features. And also we will add the DNS. Next. So this is just installing only the role and later on we will promote as a additional domain controller. Okay, next, next, install. ADDS and DNS role is getting installed now. Role is installed now and we will click on promote this server to a domain controller. Okay, the new wizard is started now and here we have three options. The deployment operations, add a new domain controller to an existing domain, And second option we have add a new domain to an existing forest and add a new forest. So this is our additional domain controller ADC in existing domain. So we will go with first option, and domain name is already taken, and this is my account through which I'll do the rest of installation or promote a additional domain controller. And now we will click on next. Okay, we have to give the current user and password, test administrator and password. Okay, and we are going to add the domain name server role and the GC role. So in production, we can select the site, but we do not have now any site from which we will do the replication, since this is the second domain controller or additional domain controller we will have in the same domain. But in production or in real world scenarios, we can have multiple sites available. So make sure we are installing or adding this additional domain controller into the same site. So DSRM password. If you do not know what a DSRM password, so I already prepared a video for this. Uh, you can watch that video. So we are going to choose the password and confirm password, and then next. And DNS options, we will leave it as default. Okay, replicate from, yes. So any domain controller is fine with me, since this is my testing environment or the demo environment. But in production, if you are place branch which is having already a domain controller, so we can sync or replicate this domain controller from that site. So I do not have any, so I can go with the default option, any domain controller. And in the last video, I discussed about what are the best practices to store or place NTDS database and log files, also the sysvol share. NTDS and sysvol, these are the key component of Active Directory. So I'm leaving it as default, but in production, you can create some additional directories or drives and place the NTDS and sysvol as per the best practices. Okay, so this is the review, and the prerequisites are getting checked. So it will validate all the settings or whether all the requirements is getting meet. Okay, so all checks are passed now. If there is any error or anything, we will be notified here. Now we are good to install it. Let's proceed with the installation. Checking the status. Okay, configuring the local computer to the host. It will replicate the entire data from DC1. So in production environment, it might take some more time based on your data or the NTDS size, database size, and also the sysvol folder, because we place all the scripts and the important files and the deployment files in sysvols here, so we can use them for group policy creations as per the business need. DNS is getting configured now. Okay, so server is successfully configured as a domain controller. I mean that ADC, and uh, we are going to be signed out shortly. So this server will restart. So let's go to the DC1 and check whether this server is already added as a domain controller or not. Okay, here just to validate, you can see multiple ways. So the first thing we can see the domain controller test DC2, it's added. Also we can check sites and services, how many domain controllers we have. Open the site. This is my default site, and the server or the additional domain controller successfully added here also. And also we can validate in DNS services, because this is the new name server. So we can validate from the DNS as well. Open forward lookup zone and our master zone, test.local. Right click and properties. Check the name server. Refresh it. Name server. It's taking some time, but it will be added very soon here as well, because that is the name server. But here in the background, we can see the server is added. So this is how we can create additional domain controller. Server is still restarting, so we can validate uh, the new the accounts and computers and all the plugins. Just wait for a moment. Okay, we are in DC2. Let's log on this. Okay, domain name already taken, and here is my password. Okay, so this is DC2. And Let's open Active Directory users and computer and create a new user. And just to validate the new users PLR, I have only one account. I'll create new user, that is Dinesh MR dot R, and the user logon, that is Dinesh R, and create the password. Confirm password, and user must change the password at next logon. So this is fine. Finish. Account is created. We will validate this account on TC2. So in real environment, the account replication or the newly account which are getting created, they might take some time based on the latency or the site we have configured. But here, these are only two domain controllers and connecting to the same switch. So the replication will happen a little faster. Okay, and in DNS, let's validate one more time on the DC1. So this is DC1. As forward lookup, let's refresh this, whether the name server is added or not. Properties and name server, yes. DC2 is added, and this is wearing the IP address 1.9 ending. So this is how we can create as many as we want as per our requirement. The additional domain controllers, we call it as ADC as well. So that's it in this video. Let's catch up in the next video. Thanks for watching.